The Minnesota-Wisconsin rivalry continues this evening at Williams Arena when the 19th-ranked Badgers tip off with the Gophers. He gets you ready for the contest now. The storyline: the Big Ten basketball standings have Purdue, Michigan, and Michigan State on top at 9-2 with Wisconsin a game behind at 8-3, Maryland 1.5 behind at 8-4, and then Minnesota in 6th place at 6-5 in league play. The Badgers have won 5 games in a row including wins over Michigan, Maryland, and at Nebraska. On January 3rd of this year, the Gophers took out Wisconsin 59-52 in Madison. Gopher fans rejoiced as the maroon and gold had not only finally won a football game in Madison, but they broke a long Madison losing streak in basketball as well. The Gophers had a 29-14 lead at halftime in Madison and were led by the 21 points of Amir Coffey. The Badgers were led by the 17 points and 8 boards from Ethan Happ. The fans will pack Williams Arena to cheer on their Gophers and jeer the Badgers. Bo Ryan of course isn't around to scream it, but Brad Davison and Nathan Ruvers have taken his place as the booing objects. Davison is from Maple Grove, Minnesota, while Ruvers is from Lakeville, Minnesota. Gopher fans haven't had a chance to scream at Davison or Ruvers as of yet because there was no Wisconsin-Minnesota game in Williams Arena last year. Well, you can expect Minnesota fans to unleash 2 years of screams. Davison has become one of the most jeered players in American because of his physical play, and some flops here and there, and now the Twin Cities get their chance to disapprove. Then there is Ruvers, whose recruitment commitment article from 2 years ago was written with a high school buddy. The article was more about slamming Minnesota than it was about celebrating a decision to play in Madison. You can see that here. https://www.twincities.com/2016/05/18/Lakeville-North-Nathan-Ruvers-Wisconsin-Badgers-closing parenthesis, as if the Minnesota-Wisconsin rivalry needed more fuel, the Minnesota kids playing in Madison will make it even more fun tomorrow. And keep in mind, Wisconsin has won 6 of their last 7 Big Ten road games. The numbers in Madison: the Badgers only scored 14 points in 20 minutes against the Gophers. Wisconsin shot 6 of 26 from the floor and 2 of 14 from the arc in that time frame. However, in the second half, Happ scored 17 points on 8 of 13 shooting, and Ruvers, 12 points and 5 boards, were able to score on the Gopher front court. The problem was Ethan Happ made only 1 of 7 foul shots and the team made just 7 of 17, allowing the Gophers to hack a Happ down the stretch. While the Badger bigs were scoring inside, the Gopher size struggled. The 4 Minnesota bigs combined to shoot 5 of 15 from the floor and scored just 11 points between the 4 of them: Jordan Murphy, Daniel Oturu, Matt Stockman, and Eric Curry. That said, the Gophers dominated the glass 37-25. Coffey led the team, scoring 21, while Dupree McBrayer produced 14 points and Broxtell hit 2 threes of the bench. Wisconsin is 7th in the nation and number 1 in the Big Ten in three-point shooting. The Badgers have shot 40.3% from the arc this season, led by sophomores Demetric Trice, 45.2%, Brad Davison, 44.3%, and Ruvers, 40%. Over the last 12 games, Davison is averaging 14.2 points per game and shooting 29 of 53, 54.7% from the arc. Ethan Happ is averaging 18.5 points, 10.3 rebounds and 5.1 assists per game. Happ is the nation's only player averaging at least 15.0 points, 10.0 boards, and 5.0 assists per game. Gopher senior guard Dupree McBrayer hasn't hit double figures since the Rutgers game when he had 15 points. In the 6 straight games where Dupree has been in single-digit scoring numbers, he's made just 12 of 41 shot attempts, including 4 of 19 shots at the arc. The matchups: speaking of McBrayer, obviously he's struggled to finish shot attempts, but his ball handling, defense, and decision-making have been very important to the Gopher basketball team. Last game he defended a struggling Brad Davison, shooting-wise, but Davison comes into this game as one of the hottest shooters in America. Davison is playing in his first game at Williams Arena where his family at one point had season tickets. Davison for the most part wasn't recruited by the Gophers. Motivation for both Davison and for McBrayer will be high. It was high last game as, you will recall the Davison technical as well as the slap across Dupree's face that led to blood. Kalsher later elbowed Davison in the mouth. Amir Coffey's assignment in Game 1 was Khalil Iverson, which makes sense as Iverson is the biggest of the three Wisconsin backcourt players and the best rebounder in that group. Amir had trouble keeping Iverson off the offensive glass, but Iverson simply had trouble stopping Coffey in every way. Amir first hurt the Badgers with his passing, and then once the floor opened he attacked the rim with no mercy. That leaves Gabe Kalsher on Demetric Trice, putting the Gophers' most consistent defender on Wisconsin's top backcourt weapon. Up front, Minnesota had a big edge rebounding-wise. Jordan Murphy, Eric Curry, and Daniel Oturu are far superior rebounders to what is playing up front with Ethan Happ. In Wisconsin's favor is that they are much bigger up front with Happ and Rivers. When Greg Gard made adjustments in the first game, his bigs were, both 6'10", able to score over the shorter Minnesota front line throughout half two. Rivers has 4 inches on Murphy and he used that to point produce, while the only Gopher in recent memory that was able to give Happ issues was Bakary Konate. BK used positioning and the right size to make Happ go over him, which was a struggle. The only Gopher with BK size is Matt Stockman. The bench. Isaiah Washington received a DNP in early January and the Gophers arguably played their best team game of the season in Madison. Washington is playing much better basketball now though, so I really doubt he sits this game out as well. His transition push and rapid ball movement have helped the Gophers steadily. Richard Pitino talked about Washington needing to be smarter with his basket attacks, and if he can do that this evening he will help the team. But Wisconsin is a methodical group. You cannot give away possessions with forced defense. I expect Washington to play this evening and they need a controlled Washington, because if he will give the Gophers an edge. Prediction: with the schedule that's approaching and with Minnesota having beaten Wisconsin already once, this is another must-win for the Gophers considering they are at home. Minnesota is the better rebounding team and Williams Arena should be wild this evening. To counter, Wisconsin is playing better basketball right now with Brad Davison being one of the nation's hottest shooters. This should be a close, fun matchup, and I think because the Gophers will give their best effort they win. Minnesota 65, Wisconsin 62.